Good morning. It's Friday the 5th of March, 12 o'clock. My name is Christopher Charlton. I'm here to present to you the Centre Asset Management weekly review of the currency markets. Okay, let's go. According to the latest opinion polls, over 70% of the American population and 40% of the British believe in angels. This can be substantiated by the number of books on the subject in circulation. The big hit for 2010 looks likely to be Angelology by Danielle Trussoni, a sort of Dan Brown thriller. When I was a boy, we used to have little books that listed all the serial numbers of those now famous Routemaster buses. We would go out in our free time and sit on the road and wait for a bus to come around, and then we would check the serial number and cross it out in our book. The idea was to cross out all the numbers in the book, but I doubt that anybody ever managed to do that. Still, that passed the time of day, and in those days, before computers and colour television, parents were happy to have the children out of the house until dusk. So I thought about the idea of how can you spot an angel? Well, if you see a chap similarly to this striking fellow on that picture flying down the middle of Oxford Street, then you've got a pretty good chance that you've spotted one. Why do I bring this up? Well, if you recall, last week I spoke about the failure of President Obama's attempt to seek the assistance of the Republicans in passing his health care bill. What caught my eye this week was a quote from Doreen Virtue, a famous authority on angels, and she said that the deceased receive nearly round-the-clock mental health care from the moment they arrive in heaven. So I really don't know what all the fuss is about. Well, let's have a look at what the main themes for the week were. We saw the attack on the pound at the beginning of the week and the continuing uncertainty over Greece and the EU. Latest opinion polls on the UK election and a story of $35 billion purchase of a unit of AIG by Prudential caused a panic sell-off in the pound on Monday morning. It seems that the British electorate are more tending to the devil that you know rather than the devil that you don't. The pound fell 2.5% in a matter of hours on Monday morning. In a range from 151.50 it fell to a low of 147.80. It then traded pretty much in a range since then for the rest of the week. Euro sterling shot through the 91 level and then has been trading close to that also for the rest of the week. Last week I said that our first target was the 91 level and then we would review the situation. Well, we've reached that. If you want to see our forecast, you can always go onto the website www.sensor-am.com. So let's review the situation. Firstly, the cable. We maintain our medium-term view that the pound will continue to fall against the dollar with the low 140s as our target. Our view all along has been based on an intrinsic dollar strength, not so much a sterling weakness, and that the demand for dollars will increase through the year as the global economy contracts and the deleveraging of debt continues. Once this has been played out, we can return to the arguments of hyperinflation and the continuing medium-term dollar devaluation, but we believe first we're in a period of dollar strength that could last through most of this year. This has been our rationale since the end of last year, and we see no reason to change it at the moment. There is another issue which I'd like to bring up. Should Labour actually win the election in June, which is, I think, unlikely, but it is a possibility, then the pound, I believe, would come under severe pressure. If you look at this long-term chart, you can see that the sterling has traded within a range of 140 to 200 since 1985. A Labour victory would probably push the pound through the floor. So we've just had a look at a potential option strategy that might be of interest to you. We looked at a sterling put at 140 to going through to the 30th of July, a premium of 1.33%. Could be a strategy to play for going through the UK general election. Last week I mentioned the trade imbalances in Europe. I'm bringing that up again. 60% of total UK trade is done with Europe. Its main European trading partner is Germany. Germany has a global trade surplus, you can see, of $185 billion, whilst the UK has a global trade deficit of $120 billion. Just from this viewpoint, we would argue that the euro sterling should move, or the pound should fall another 10 to 15% against the euro. So a move towards parity is still our medium-term viewpoint. Today, Angela Merkel will be meeting the Greek Prime Minister Georgios Papandreou. No, that isn't Georgios Papandreou. Sorry about that. That is Georgios Papandreou. And this chap was actually a Prime Minister of Greece in around 1870. I just thought his moustache is quite magnificent. The present Prime Minister would benefit if he grew one. I think he would. Whatever, we'll move on. The Greek situation has calmed down this week due to the severe austerity package that the government intends to implement. The proof was the successful bond auctions of Greece and Spain. Nevertheless, the problems remain, and it's not ruled out that Greece may have to go to the IMF at some point, unless the northern states can come up with an aid package. Merkel is in a corner, mainly due to the knowledge that Germany will eventually have to bail out Greece and other Club-Med countries, and how to persuade the German people to accept that. In the meantime, she has domestic problems of her own with her foreign secretary and deputy chancellor, Guido Westerwelle, who has been upsetting everybody at the moment with incredible statements like those who work must earn more than those who don't. He's right, of course, that the employment system needs reform, but it's the way he comes across like a bull in a china shop that is the problem. Well, let's just have a look at the euro, which has been trading sideways for nearly 2 weeks now. If we look at a long-term chart, we can see that a base has been made around the important 134.50 level. I want to talk a little bit using technical analysis here. The 134.50 level was a 61.8% retracement, so it could be a significantly important base. We don't actually think so. We think actually the move at the moment in the euro dollar is tracing out a 5-wave move that started at the end of last year above 150. Here you can see the wave count. Wave 1, we believe, is there. Wave 2 moved up. Wave 3 down. And we're now in a 4th wave, which means that we could probably trade between this 134.50 and 138, 138.50 level for a time, maybe a week or so. And then resume the downward move towards 130. So our medium-term view remains the same here, move towards 130 for the euro dollar. Well, that's it for this week. To genuine believers in angels, please accept my apologies for my cynicism. No offense was meant. Thanks for watching and have a good week.